Rabbi RabbiRoyiShaffin talking about Aliyah and the future of Israel.
I would like to expand on and extrapolate on something that Sonia said that I think is also very important. We've been speaking about Aliyah in terms of the personal nature of Aliyah. Can the person make it in Israel? Can the person find a job? Can the person go to Israel at every age? As someone who's interested in Israel in terms of its geopolitical and demographic and sociological place in the world, I want to talk a little bit about what an Aliyah of an Anusim community or other worldwide communities that have been lost from the Jewish people would mean for Israel. And anyone who's interested can find that I wrote an article about this several years ago and called the Jabotinsky Plan. One of the major problems in Israel today is that we have a demographic problem. The question is, how can we maintain a democratic Jewish state? And one of the greatest faults of the Jewish establishment, both in Israel and the diaspora, has been, I'm sorry to say, discrimination against groups of Jews. The Jewish community of Ethiopia should have been brought to Israel decades ago. I do not understand why there are still Jews left suffering, starving, dying, discriminated against in Ethiopia. This makes no sense to me. I do not understand why so many Jews had to die walking through the desert on the way to be airlifted to Israel. I do not understand this, some of which are family members of a friend of mine. I do not understand why members of my family through marriage tell stories of them being discriminated against in Israel because they're not white. Well, I have news for anyone who thinks Jews are white. Okay? Some Jews have a skin color that resembles white because, well, some groups of Jews wandered into Europe. Some of the Jews who went to Europe couldn't find Jewish women because it was usually the men who went out to scout lands, and so non-Jewish women converted to Judaism. And also, we need not forget that a lot of the white color that has to do with the Ashkenazic population has to do with pogroms, and our women were raped. Okay? But the Jewish people are a Middle Eastern people, and Jews are not white. And so it's almost ludicrous to discriminate against a group of Jews that is not white. We are not white. No group of Jews are white. It is amazing to me how many times we have missed opportunities and not allowed groups of Jews to make Aliyah. And for there to be such a problem and such discrimination today against the Bnei Anusim, who historically we know there was an expulsion from Spain, there was an Inquisition, there are people who can trace their lineage back, there are people who lit Shabbat candles behind closed curtains, there are people who left remnants of Judaica in their homes as a remembrance to their family heritage. And we're going to discriminate against people who want to return? So, my article, the Jabotinsky Plan, speaks about the demographic problem of Israel. And that is, how do we maintain the Jewish democracy? Vladimir or Ze'ev Jabotinsky, before World War II, before the Holocaust, said, do you know how insignificant the Arab Muslim population of Eretz Israel is? There's nobody there. There's nobody there. And if we had a major aliyah of world Jewish communities, we would easily become the majority and form a Jewish democracy. The demographic problem of Israel today is a direct result of the Nazis having murdered 6 million Jews. Because those Jews would have gone to Israel. Could you imagine 6 million additional Jews in Israel today? But the problem does not need to be left unresolved, and all of these questions of giving away land here, and independence there, and autonomy this way, and discussions this way. From my perspective, I don't see any peace agreement with the Palestinians going anywhere. I see a continuous state of war. And the question is, how do we create a Jewish democracy in the land of Israel, create an unquestioned Jewish demographic majority, and give full citizenship to all of the Arabs living in Eretz Israel, so that we have a Jewish democracy? And one of the answers to the question is that we need a major Aliyah of the Bnei Anusim, a major Aliyah of those Jews in India who want to make Aliyah, those Jews in China who want to make Aliyah. All of these Jewish communities can make for a Jewish majority and a Jewish democracy. And yes, life in Israel is difficult, and yes, it's sometimes difficult to integrate, but from a political, geopolitical, demographic perspective of what this would mean for the Jewish state, I think Sonia was talking in terms of messianic terms. Can you imagine a Jewish democracy, a Jewish majority, unquestioned Jewish majority, in which all those who call themselves today Palestinian Arabs are granted full Israeli citizenship, and they are still by far outnumbered by the number of Jews in Israel? That is my vision.
I like it.
Thank you.